All right, we are live. Welcome back to the deep dive. This is episode 8.
Tremendous to be here. Really tremendous.
Yeah, it's great to have you back, man. Now, if you guys listening have been writing with us for the last few weeks, we've already covered the heavy hitters. We did gold, which is classic. We did silver, which is like the volatile cousin. We even touched on platinum.
Very important metals. Beautiful metals.
Right. But today we are talking about the crazy one, the metal that actually went to the moon while everyone was distracted by Bitcoin. We're talking about palladium.
It's a beautiful metal. Truly beautiful, but it's nasty. Let me tell you, most people, they don't even know how to spell it. They hear palladium and they think it's a theater in London or maybe some Greek goddess.
Exactly.
But it's very silvery, very industrial. And for a while there, let me tell you, it was the most expensive precious metal in the world. Gold. Gold was a loser compared to palladium. Palladium was winning, and it was winning big league.
It really was. And just to get this out of the way right up top, man, we have to say this because the lawyers get nervous. This is not financial advice.
Oh, definitely not. Don't do that.
Right. Do not go out and mortgage your house to buy a block of palladium because of what we say here. We are just two people looking at the numbers, the sources, and honestly, the absolute madness of this market.
It is madness. Total madness. But it's the kind of madness you can learn from. You have to have nerves of steel or, honestly, nerves of palladium to play this game. It's a vicious market, not for the weak.
Yeah, not for the weak at all.
Yeah.
So our mission today is simple. We have 5 strange tales about this metal. These are the stories you can tell at a pub to look like the smartest person in the room.
All right.
But we're also going to unpack the economics behind them.
Which is very important. You have to know the economics.
Right. Because when you look at palladium, you see market manipulation. You see heist movies, you see cold fusion. It's literally got everything.
It's got everything. It's like a movie, a very expensive, very dramatic movie.
So let's jump right into tale number 1. We call this the vertical spike. I was looking at the charts from 2019, and it's insane. The price went from something like $400 an ounce to nearly $3,000.
Through the roof.
Yeah, it didn't even curve up. It just went straight up. It looked like a glitch in the matrix, man. What on earth happened there?
That, my friend, is what we call a short squeeze. A massive squeeze mixed with inelastic demand. And it was beautiful to watch if you owned it, but a total disaster. I mean, a complete catastrophe if you were Ford or GM.
Okay, let's unpack that term for the folks listening. Inelastic demand. That sounds like textbook stuff, something you hear in a lecture hall.
Mm-hmm.
But what does it actually mean in the real world when billions of dollars are on the line?
It's very simple, but it's brutal. Inelastic demand is when you absolutely have to buy something. It's when you have a gun to your head. It doesn't matter if the price doubles or triples or goes up 10 times. You have no choice.
Right, you're trapped.
Trapped. You see car companies, and these are smart people usually, but they got caught napping. They need palladium for the catalytic converters. It cleans the exhaust.
Right, scrubs the bad stuff out of the smoke before it leaves the tailpipe.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. In 2019, you had these new regulations coming out. China, 6. Euro 6, very strict. Terrible for business, but very strict. These governments said, you want to sell a car, it better emit 0 pollution.
Wow.
So to do that, the car companies couldn't just use a pinch of palladium anymore. They had to load the canister up. They needed 30% more metal per car.
So they're staring at the price chart, seeing it hit $2,000, $2,500, and they literally can't walk away.
They can't walk away. If they don't buy, they don't sell the car. I mean, $40,000 asset is stuck on the factory line because of a few grams of metal. So they paid. They paid any price. That is inelasticity. It's the perfect squeeze.
That is wild.
And the supply. A disaster. You have Russia and South Africa, and that's basically it. They have it all. They squeeze the world. It was a supply shock meets a demand that couldn't say no.
So the price just keeps going up because the buyers literally cannot stop buying. But when you look at this event, there are 2 very different ways to interpret what happened. Depending on your politics, you see a completely different villain here.
Oh, absolutely. Huge disagreement. The divide is tremendous.
Right. So if you look at it from a more right-centric free market perspective, the argument is, hey, this is your own fault. The car companies didn't secure their supply chains.
Right.
They didn't do long-term contracts. They played the spot market trying to save a few pennies, and they got burned. So the argument there is no bailouts for bad planning.
That's right. They would say you didn't make the deal. If you don't make the deal, you pay the price. That's the market. If you're stupid enough to build a business that relies on one metal from Russia without a contract, you deserve to lose. That's the hard truth.
But then you have the left-centric view, which looks at this and says, wait, this is market manipulation.
Yeah, they complain about it.
They point out that you have hedge funds and billionaires hoarding a metal that is essential for global transportation. They're basically holding the auto industry hostage for a shiny rock. So they argue it's predatory behavior and shows why we need regulation.
Well, it is very predatory, but that's the Palladium game. If the demand is inelastic, the price has no ceiling. It can go to infinity. That's the lesson. The market doesn't care about fairness. It cares about leverage. And the leverage was with the guys holding the metal.
Which leads us perfectly into tale number 2.
Yeah.
And I love this one because it feels like science fiction, man. We're going back to 1989. 2 scientists, Pons and Fleischmann.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, they come out and say they've solved the world's energy crisis. Cold fusion.
Sun in a jar. That's what they called it. It was huge. People went crazy. The media went completely crazy. It was going to change everything.
And palladium was the key ingredient. Why? Palladium?
It was the whole thing. See, palladium is a very strange metal. You have to understand the physics here just a little bit. Palladium has this incredible lattice structure. Think of it like a beautiful hotel with millions of empty rooms. It's like a sponge for hydrogen.
Okay.
It can absorb up to 900 times its own volume in hydrogen gas. It squeezes them all in there.
900 times.
Mm.
So it's like fitting an elephant into a suitcase.
Exactly. It packs them in tight. Very tight. So these scientists, they put a palladium rod in heavy water, ran some current through it, and claimed they were getting more energy out than they put in. They thought the palladium was squeezing the hydrogen atoms so close together that they were fusing. Nuclear fusion at room temperature.
Which violates the laws of physics as we know them. You usually need the heat of the sun or a massive reactor to do that.
It breaks all the rules. But for a few weeks, the world believed it. The price of palladium went through the roof overnight. People were saying, we don't need oil anymore. We don't need coal. We don't need the Saudis. We just need this magic metal.
Yeah. And this is what you'd call, in economics, a black swan event, right?
Textbook black swan. An unpredictable event that changes everything immediately. Or in this case, it would have been a black swan. Because it turned out to be a massive nothing burger.
Right. The science didn't hold up. No one else could replicate it.
A total failure. Fake news, before we even called it fake news. And it's interesting, if you look at the ordinary Japanese view on this, Japan spent millions on this. Millions and millions.
Right.
Oh, yeah. They wanted energy independence so badly because they don't have oil. When it turned out to be fake, it was a massive loss of shinrai. That's the Japanese word for trust.
Shinrai.
Right. It wasn't just a bad investment. It was a loss of honor for the scientific community over there. They felt completely betrayed by these guys.
Man, it's fascinating to think about the what if, though. If that had actually worked, if cold fusion was real, palladium would be the most valuable substance in the universe.
It would be priceless. You'd have wars over it. But instead, it crashed. That's the lesson. If it sounds too good to be true, if they promise you infinite energy from a jar of water, it's probably a pump and dump. Always check the science.
So we've got vertical price spikes. We've got fake science. Let's move to tale number 3, the Norilsk mystery. Now, we touched on Russia earlier, but we need to dive deeper here because most of the world's palladium comes from one specific place.
Norilsk.
Norilsk nickel.
Yeah.
It's a beast of a company. It's way up in the Arctic Circle. I've heard stories about this place, and let me tell you, it's one of the most polluted places on Earth.
You're seeing pictures, man. It looks apocalyptic.
The snow is black, literally black snow. The air tastes like sulfur. There are no trees for miles because the acid rain killed them all, dead. But they have the key to the kingdom. They have the palladium.
And this brings us to the economic concept of an oligopoly. Right? An oligopoly. It's not a monopoly where one guy has it all. It's a market shared by a very small number of players who have total control. And in this case, you have Vladimir Putin running Norilsk. Very wealthy guy, very tough. And he knows the world needs what he has.
And there's this recurring pattern, isn't there? I was reading about this Norilsk game and the sources. Whenever the price of palladium starts to dip or when Russia needs some geopolitical leverage, something weird happens at the mine.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like clockwork. Suddenly, oops, the mine flooded. Or, oh no, the shipment is delayed at the port. Or we have a maintenance issue with the smelter.
Right.
And boom, the price jumps 20% overnight. It's geopolitical leverage. They use the metal as a weapon. They look at the West and say, oh, you want clean air. You want your catalytic converters for your fancy Toyotas. Pay us.
It really highlights the vulnerability of the whole supply chain.
Yeah.
And again, this splits people completely down the middle on how to handle it.
Totally splits them. Tremendous divide.
Yeah, the right-centric view is, why are we relying on them at all? We have palladium in North America. We have the Stillwater complex in Montana. We should be digging in Minnesota.
We should.
But the argument from that side is that overzealous regulators are preventing domestic digging. They'd say we are making ourselves weak by not mining our own backyard.
They would say the regulators are losers. Complete losers. They're stopping us from digging up our own treasure. They'd say, drill, baby, drill, but for palladium. Why buy from an adversary when you have it under your feet? It makes no sense.
But then the left-centric view looks at Norilsk. They look at the black snow, the acid rain, and they say, look at the environmental cost. We are destroying the planet to extract a metal that is supposed to save the planet by cleaning car exhaust. It's a paradox.
A total paradox.
So they argue that expanding mining here would just bring that environmental destruction home to our own water tables.
It is dirty work. You're poisoning the Arctic to clean up the air in Los Angeles. But that's the reality of the business. You want the green dream. You need the dirty mine. There is no free lunch anywhere.
It is dirty work. And speaking of dirty work, that leads us right to tale number 4. This is one that actually hits regular people. The great catalytic converter crime wave.
Oh, we've all seen the videos. It's terrible. Just terrible. You park your car, you go into the store for 10 minutes to get milk, you come out, you start your engine, and it sounds like a tank.
Or
just a deafening noise. Terrible.
because someone slid under your Prius with a Sawzall and cut out the converter in like 30 seconds.
30 seconds. They're fast. They're like pit crews for crime. And why? Because that little canister is filled with dust, palladium dust. That's worth $300, maybe $400, sometimes $800 at the scrapyard. It's easy money for criminals.
And this introduces the concept of a negative externality.
Exactly. A negative externality is when a transaction happens. Say some trader in London bids up the price of palladium to $3,000, but you pay the cost.
Right, it dies in the street.
You weren't involved in the deal, you didn't buy the futures contract, you don't even know what palladium is, but now you're paying $2,000 to fix your Toyota because the commodity price is too high?
It's basically a hidden tax. High commodity prices translate directly into street crime.
It's a disaster for the middle class. The rich guy, he doesn't care. He has a garage. He has security. The working guy parks on the street and he loses his exhaust pipe. It shows you how connected everything is. A price chart in New York changes the crime rate in Chicago. Direct link.
That's a sobering way to look at it, man. Now for our final tale. Tale number 5. This is about the substitution war. We talked about this a bit in our Platinum deep dive, but it's really the main story for 2025 right now.
Yeah.
The flip.
The flip, it's huge. See, for years, palladium was the cheap alternative. Platinum was the king. Platinum was very expensive.
Yeah.
So the car companies, being smart with their money, they said, let's switch to palladium, it's cheaper.
Makes sense.
They spent millions changing their factories to use palladium.
And that massive new demand drove the price of palladium up.
It drove it to the moon. Palladium became the expensive one. Platinum became the cheap one. And now we are seeing the exact reverse.
And this is what economists call cross-price elasticity.
Fancy term, but it just means how much does the demand for one thing change when the price of the other thing goes up?
Yeah.
When palladium got to $3,000, the car company said, okay, that's it. We're done. We're going back to platinum.
Right.
It took them a while because you can't just switch overnight, but they did it.
I was reading the Johnson Matthey 2025 PGM market report, which is like the Bible for this stuff.
Yeah.
These guys track every ounce, and the data backs this up completely. They're saying palladium is finally moving back into balance after 13 years of deficits.
Finally.
But platinum is now in deficit.
Because everyone is switching back. Platinum is the value play now. Palladium is stabilizing. But there's a lot of uncertainty. The report talks about tariffs, about lower auto production. If we have a trade war or if people stop buying cars, demand drops for everything.
Right.
But the lesson is the king of metals today is the peasant of tomorrow. You always have to watch the spread.
It's a constant seesaw. Smart money doesn't just buy the metal. They watch the relationship between the metals.
Exactly. They watch the spread. If the gap gets too wide, you bet on it closing. That's how the real players make money.
That is fascinating. Now, before we wrap up with our summary, we promise some pub facts. These are the little nuggets you drop to impress people at a party. I want to ask you about jewelry. Because when I think palladium, I think car parts and smog. But people actually wear this stuff.
They do, and it's actually better than white gold. Listen,
Right.
white gold is a lie. It's fake news.
Wait, really?
Complete fake news. White gold is just yellow gold mixed with nickel to dilute it, and then they dip it in rhodium to make it look white. You wear it for a year, the rhodium rubs off and your ring turns yellow. It looks terrible.
I feel like half the wedding rings out there are white gold, man.
They are, and they're all going to turn yellow. Sad. But palladium is naturally white. It doesn't tarnish. It's hypoallergenic. No nickel, so you don't get that rash. And it's 30 times rarer than gold.
30 times.
30 times. If you want the real deal, you get palladium. It's for people who know. It's for the insiders.
30 times rarer than gold. That's a crazy stat.
And what about this water treatment thing? I saw a note in the sources about deep tech applications.
This is very important. Beyond the cars, palladium cleans water. It catalyzes the removal of organochlorines, nasty stuff, like trichloroethylene.
Wow.
And nitrates from groundwater. It turns toxic sludge into harmless water. So it's not just about driving fast, it's about drinking clean water. It's a miracle metal. It saves lives.
That is incredible. Okay, let's bring it all home. We've covered a lot of ground today. We've gone from the Arctic Circle to cold fusion to the jewelry store. If we had to summarize the key lessons for the policymakers, the finance guys, or just the investors trying to make sense of the world, what are the big takeaways? Rapid fire. Here we go. Number 1, inelastic demand. If they absolutely have to buy it, the price has no limit. It can go as high as it wants until the buyers break.
Yep.
Number 2, the black swan. If someone tells you they put the sun in a jar, it's probably a scam. Check the science. Don't just follow the hype.
Good advice.
Number 3, geopolitical risk. Don't buy your future from people who want to see you fail. If you rely on Norilsk without a backup plan, you're going to get burned. Badly.
And number 4, negative externalities. High commodity prices equal high crime. It's a hidden tax on society. When the chart goes up, you better check your driveway.
Exactly. And number 5, cross-price elasticity. The market always corrects. If something gets too expensive, we find a substitute. The flip is inevitable. Nothing stays expensive forever.
Right. It's the cycle of life in the markets. The expensive becomes cheap, the cheap becomes expensive, and the smart money just rides the wave.
They ride the wave perfectly.
So final thought for you guys listening, something to chew on. What happens to palladium when EVs completely wipe out the need for catalytic converters? Does this wild industrial roller coaster just crash permanently? Or does it become a pure deep tech and jewelry play? It's something to think about as the world shifts.
It's a great question.
To me, palladium feels like the Breaking Bad of the periodic table. It's dirty, it's dangerous, it's expensive. It lives in the underworld of catalytic converter theft, but it's also scientifically brilliant. It's a total roller coaster.
It is. It's a beautiful, dangerous metal. But you know what? If you're going to be in this market, you can't be weak. You need nerves of steel. Or actually, you need nerves of palladium.
Nerves of palladium.
I like it.
Man. All right, that is a wrap for episode 8. Now, if you like this talk, please subscribe and like this channel. We are working our way through the periodic table, and trust me, we've got some even crazier ones coming up.
Subscribe, tell your friends. We have the smartest audience in the world, truly the best. We love you guys. See you in episode 9.
Catch you guys later.